Yeah. Oh, there you are. You're right side up now. All right. Well,
Switch my phone.
if hopefully we'll see if Laura gets on. But first of all, welcome. Good morning. I am so excited that we are all getting ready for this trip. I am actually taking a custom trip prior to this one. It's overlapping, so I'm going to leave the first group and come to you guys. So I'm going to be in Cuba for a long time. I'm leaving a little earlier, and Anthony's going to take my place for some of that. But I'm leaving on the 20th, just like 4 days earlier. But I'm very excited about I'm like, ooh, I get to be in Cuba for like 2 weeks or more. So I'm very excited. And I'm excited that all of you are joining. And I think that I'll go kind of in order of who's on my screen, but I would love for you to introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you are looking forward to about this trip. So I will start with Debbie because you are first on my little grid.
Hi, everyone. I'm Debbie Rodkin in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've gone with Robin skiing out west a few different times, but I've been wanting to go to Cuba for years, and I'm super excited to go on this specific trip to get a little bit more on the Jewish side of Cuba, not just Cuba. And of course, what am I excited most about? The cars, the people, the food, the dancing, the music. So
All right, we got it all for you. All right, Karen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Melcher, and I'm in Gaithersburg, Maryland. This is my first trip with Robin, but as some of you may have heard, I met her at the lymphoma ride a number of years ago. I was supposed to go to Cuba 2 years ago in the pandemic, believe it or not. And I had some medical issues and I couldn't go. So as soon as I saw Robin post this, I was on board. Anyway, I'm interested in just the culture, the Jewish culture, exploring a third world country, and just open to having the time of my life.
All right, we love that. Steve.
Good morning, everyone. I'm from San Francisco. You can see the Gold Gate. Actually, I'm not. I'm from Atlanta. I've known Debbie for years. I'm in the real estate business in Atlanta. I have a very good friend who's a photographer in Atlanta who's gone to Cuba about 8 times, led trips, and he brought home remarkable photographs that inspired me to want to go. And I love Cuban food. And I don't know if I can get good paella down there, probably. And it seems like a neat place to go. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right, Gail.
Hi, everybody. Gail. I'm in Evanston, Illinois, just outside Chicago. I'm probably not going to say anything that hasn't been said already. I've not traveled with Steppin out before. Have not been to Cuba. It's been someplace I've wanted to go for a really long time. And I would say I am interested in all things Cuban culture.
Awesome. All right, Chris.
Gail, maybe do it. Kidding aside, one of my first businesses in Chicago was in a very Cuban neighborhood, so I've been exposed to Chicago Cubans quite a bit, and I want to see what the island's like. The rest of the stuff is no different than what anybody else has said. So,
all right, great, thank you. All right, PK, do you?
Good morning, PK. Real name is Puyakani, but I go by PK. I've done one other trip with Robin to Punta I think it was, Dominican. Yeah. And I've always been intrigued by Cuba. I was just looking online last night and only a few hours ago learned about this call, so I'm here to learn. And As I said, I've always been intrigued about Cuba and visiting there, so this might be the time.
Awesome.
PK, where are you calling in from?
Sorry, Boston, Massachusetts. I don't have the accent though. Formerly from New York.
Yeah, well, still you don't have the accent. All right, Anthony.
All right, Anthony Ippolito. I am from planet Earth. I tend to live everywhere. So I'm kind of a nomad. Right now I'm in Wisconsin, all right, where I spend a lot of time, but I do spend a lot of time in the Chicago area as well. And that's where I originally grew up, northwest suburbs, Arlington Heights, spend a lot of time in Evanston. I have a lot of friends in Evanston as well. Cuba. So I have traveled with Steppin Out. I've done a lot of Steppin Out events. Just so you know, I'm not Jewish, but irrelevant. I always have a great time. Me and Robin have been doing a lot of things together for many, many years. She's a very dear friend, and she invited me to go along on this trip, and I jumped at the chance. And Cuba, I mean, come on, like everybody else is kind of anxious to see and excited to see as well. I am definitely looking forward to it. So, and meeting everybody, the shared experience is always fantastic.
That is so true. All right, Lori.
Hi, I am Lori. I'm calling in from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. I'm excited. Robin's write-up and all the things that we'd be doing there really intrigued me. I've been curious about Cuba as well for a number of years, and this is like the first thing I've done like without my posse ever. So I'm definitely stepping out.
I love it. Love it. That's great. And then Laura, I don't know where she is, but she is from New York. So we got a great group. I have not met Laura, but she's been eyeing this trip and had an injury and didn't know if she could do it, but her doctor just gave her the clear to do it. So she's very excited. So there's, I know that people are a little overwhelmed by, the legality and make sure they're doing everything right. So that's why I really wanted to make sure I go over everything about that part, and then we'll get through, any of your questions, and also the part of, like certain things in the packet. I probably won't spend a lot of time on the itinerary. I just want you to know that Cuba, you submit the itinerary, they give you, they tell you how much it's going to cost, and they give you the okay, but 3 weeks prior to the trip, they double check everything. So there may be shifts. I mean, they try and keep everything the way it is, but there may be, they may move certain things around, etc. So I've only had like one time where they actually took out something and replaced it with something, but the main thing would maybe be the days. Some things may happen on one day and whatever, but pretty much your itinerary is what is on the website, and as soon as I get their final, I will send that to you. So how are we able to go to Cuba legally? So first of all, that the Cubans, they don't care. It's the embargo here. And it's not that we aren't allowed to travel to Cuba, but we aren't allowed to spend money in Cuba. So under the various licenses is how we're able to do it. And they refer to, if most of you bought your airline tickets, they'll ask why, what are you going for? And the answer I said is to put support for the Cuban people, or some of them have like people-to-people license. So I'm going to start with some of the forms that I sent you, just so you know what they are and what to do with them. The affidavit is really for you. You don't need, you should carry it with you when you arrive, but I'm going to ask you to make sure that you send me a copy of it also, because I'll hold it for you. The reason it really happens for your records. And when will you need to show them that you were on a legal trip for Cuba? If any of you ever get like a government job, a federal job, or you're applying for TSA or global entry or something like that, they may say to you, how did you travel to Cuba legally? And so this is what you would show them with your itinerary. Yeah. So it's just really for you to hold on to, but it's, carry it with you on the trip. The second page is the one that says people to people travel. So in this part where it says, I am traveling under a specific license from the U.S. Department, blah, 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 OFAC, license number is, and you go to the people to people travel, it's 31 CFR 515. This number next to the people to people travel is what you put on that line. Okay. So, and then it just has the, your signature, and then it's authorized by the person who is working on the ground for us. So that is the affidavit. The liability form is from the person working on the ground for us. Just fill it out, as best you can, scan it, take a picture of it, just send it to me to make sure that I have that. So those are the things, like just kind of in the background, but now I'm going to go over what you need, like when you get to the airport. First of all, you're going to need your passport and your boarding pass. And I'm going to say, when you get your boarding pass, make sure that you hold onto it, because the flights from US to Cuba include the Cuban health insurance. So if an example of someone who was on a trip, twisted their ankle for, during salsa dancing, and you have to go and get something, you're covered for that. Your pharmaceuticals aren't covered, but I'll get to that in a second. But if you go to a doctor for anything, it's covered by your ticket. So you need to hold on to your boarding pass to show that, that you came in through an airline. If you came in from like Mexico or somewhere else, it's like a Mexican airline, they don't have that included, so they would have to purchase that upon arrival. So you don't have to purchase the insurance upon arrival. There is something that is all right, I'm terrible at pronouncing the Diva Jerez. Anyone Spanish can help me with that. If you saw on the first page of this, I said 48 hours before. Where is that? You need to get online and fill out that form. What that is actually I think in the packet I said, when you get on the airplane, you're going to have forms to fill out. Actually, that is incorrect. That was left in from a few years ago. They now have everything online. So within 48 hours of your trip, you need to get online and fill out that form. When you fill it out, they will send you a QR code. That QR code is one of the things that you bring either on your phone, but I would recommend you printing it out just in case your phone dies or something. When you bring that with your passport and your your boarding pass, and then you bring the QR code. The other thing that you're going to need or get beforehand, depending on what your situation is, and we'll talk about that in a second, is a visa. Every airline that you're flying on, I think most of you are American, right? You're Southwest. Okay.
Is anyone else Southwest or just Chris and me?
Maybe you, just you. But anyway, when you get there will be when you get to the gate, there will be a Cuba departure desk. And in that, they will ask to see your passport, your boarding pass, your QR code, and your visa. If you do not have a visa, then you can buy it right there. The range of price is kind of anywhere between $85 and $120. You can buy them beforehand, and I can send you the link if you want to get it beforehand. There shouldn't be any reason that you get that beforehand if you're fine, but if you are coming in from somewhere else and you have a very tight connection from wherever you're coming in from, then you might want to purchase it beforehand. So you have that. But if it's just a regular connection and you have, when you're in Florida and the regular 2-hour connection, then you shouldn't have to buy it beforehand. They will, yeah, Gail?
Go on, I'll ask you when I'm done.
They do take credit cards, but I am recommending that you also have cash, but you're in the Miami or Fort Lauderdale, whatever airport, and you can just run to an ATM or whatever there too. Okay, Gail.
So this Cuba departure desk that you're referring to, I'm wondering if that's administered by American. And the reason I'm asking is shortly after we purchased our Southwest flights, I got an email from Southwest to buy my visa through Southwest. I haven't done it yet, but it strikes me like I ought to do it that way since I'm relying on Southwest to let me on the plane. If I get the visa from their whatever preordained method, I might.
Yeah, and so remember I told you that I have a custom group going beforehand. So some of them are on Southwest. They did, here, wait, let me try and they did do that. I have a copy of, they did the Southwest and they ordered it in advance. And I actually also ordered in advance because I am leaving very early in the morning and I'm a little concerned about me getting up now. So I wanted to.
Is it the fact that we haven't already ordered in advance? Is that?
No, it's fine. You can do it. Sorry.
If I do it tomorrow
yeah.
night.
Yeah, they send it FedEx.
Okay, gotcha.
So you pay for that for the FedEx, but that's how they do it. And then there are it's called a couple of different things depending on on your airline or what you may say. It's called a tourist card, it's called a visa, it's called a permit. They're all the same thing. And it comes in, it has two sides, you fill out both sides. When you leave customs, they'll take one side and then you need the other when you're going through and departing back to the United States. So but it does come, FedEx, so you have time. American, like I said, because I'm leaving very early, I was like a little, I don't know, what if I get a little late? So I bought it online for American, and I will send you the link for that also for those of you going on that. Karen.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, can we order it now? We don't need to order it when we're in, or buy it when we're in Miami, right?
Yeah, you can do it now, or you can do it at the departure desk.
Okay, great.
And one last question about flights from your experience going to Cuba. Is it your experience that will be checked through from our origin city, or will we have to go through an international process in Florida? We're going to Fort Lauderdale, but
so when you're leaving Chicago, it should send it directly.
Gotcha. Okay.
So to Havana. So you won't be picking up your luggage then. So the form, the one within 48 hours, I haven't done it yet because this is new for this year. But the woman who I was talking to said it could get a little confusing. So I thought that maybe we would pick a time, like 2 days or whatever before the trip, and I'll do it together. Does that sound, then you would get on if you can't, then that's fine. One of the things that she said the reason why it's a little confusing, she said some of the drop downs aren't intuitive, so we'll go over that. But the other part is if you're on your own, or if we don't do it together, then the two things she said to do is make sure you clear your cache if you're having trouble, or use a different browser if you're having trouble. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm going to look at my calendar. I will already be in Cuba 2 days before. So I'll have Anthony do that. All right.
Is there a time of day that works better for other people? I know personally, I would be better in the early morning. I already have work and commitments starting from 1 o'clock till about 6:30. I might be able to do it at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So can we?
But what about the evening?
Yeah, evening is better, I think, for
Evening's
us.
better for everyone.
So
Like
After-
Tuesday.
yeah, like the Tuesday, the 21st in the evening.
So like at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
It doesn't work for me on Tuesday. But
Does Monday work?
Monday and Wednesday are great. Tuesday at 9:30. So yeah.
Monday's not within 48 hours though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so we'll throw some times out, and I'll also double check with Anthony. And Anthony, you'll get on the call that I'm doing with the other group with me. So because we're doing that with them, and so you can, follow, see what it is beforehand.
Can
One
I
of
just toss something else out?
Uh-huh.
Steve, you mentioned 9:30 Eastern time is good for you on Tuesday, which is only 8:30 Central time for those in the Chicago
Yeah.
area. Would that?
Yeah, I can't do it.
You can't do it at 8:30? Okay.
All right, we'll send something out and we'll take a little vote. The one other thing this is just a little, just from experience type thing, is when you board your plane in Florida, is bring a water bottle, a filled water bottle, and maybe like a snack, because it has happened that baggage takes a really long time to come through and you can't drink the water there. So if you have your own fresh water bottle and you're waiting for a little bit of time, just make sure that you have that with you, and a little snack just in case it takes a long time.
This is where in Havana.
Yeah. So but I'm saying fill your water bottle in Florida, so that when you get to Havana, if it takes a while to get your luggage and you're thirsty or whatever, that you have something with you. So let's see, I'm just making sure I'm going through everything that boarding pass. Okay. So now we are going to just talk like once you arrive, and I want to make sure my notes are all right. So you're on the plane, it's a short flight. When you get off the plane, you're going to they're going to kind of send you into immigration or whatever. I think you have to take an escalator down, if I remember, and you go to immigration, and there is right before you hit like the little kiosk for immigration, there'll be someone there who will ask to see your QR code. So that's where you're going to need that again. And they'll just register that and send you off to the kiosk into immigration. They're just, I think at that same place, they may randomly select some people to take a COVID test. You may want to, I'm suggesting, and this is a suggestion that I would, just like to throw out there is that maybe like 3 or 4 days prior to the trip, you kind of limit, that you're not in huge conventions or something. I know you can't help it if it's, if something's going on, but just so that when hopefully that we will all arrive COVID free. So, do a little bit of a self quarantine, maybe, beforehand. So when you get through the kiosk, you just need your passport. They're going to take your picture, and then they're going to X-ray anything that you have on you. They'll make you take your watch off, everything. If you're carrying a purse, they'll put it all through the X-ray. When you walk out of there, and I'm being very specific because some people get a little confused and don't know what to do. So when you walk out, look up, and it will tell you, you'll look for there's either 1 or 2, left or right, and it will tell you where your baggage claim is based on your flight. So you'll go to either left or to right, and then you'll collect your baggage. When you leave there, we're going to meet you outside of baggage claim. So when you leave, stick with, the 1 or the 2, the left or the right, that you are that you picked up your luggage from. It's easy to, maybe there's a longer line over there, so you cross over and you go to 2, but we will be waiting for you outside the area that that we're supposed to meet you. It's not huge. We'll find each other or whatever, but I'm just saying that, just telling you that. And we'll have a sign. If our guide, it's the one that I had the last time I was there in 2019. His name is Jesus. He's very fun. I can find a picture to show you because it may be, if some of you are landing at the same time, he may go to one and I may go to another or whatever. So just look for the Steppin out sign to find us when you get out. We do have a range of people, arrival. So I think that, we'll talk about, some of you, if you get in earlier and want to take a cab or get it like Gail and Fish, you're probably going to take a cab and just meet us or whatever, because you guys come in at 4:30. Most of the other people are around that 1:32 time. So,
so we're fine taking a cab. Will there be someone?
Yeah, so I'll order that for you.
Okay, so we're not looking for you or Jesus. We're looking for a cab driver that says
right. Yeah, Karen?
Are any of us arriving? I don't expect you to know offhand. From the same flight from Miami to Havana?
Yes, I think so. I think Lori maybe. Actually, let me see.
I booked the flight you told us to book.
I did too.
All right, yeah. So that is the one that. Let's see. Where is? Yeah, Lori and Karen are on the same one. Debbie and Steve are on the same one. And that's it so far. So
maybe we can meet in Miami.
Right.
And,
yeah.
At least have someone commiserate with.
That is a good idea and another good reason for this call, so you can find people. I keep misplacing my agenda. Sorry. The few other big things that I want to talk, and then we'll go into more details and answer questions, is money. You cannot use a credit card there. You cannot, and I'll get to, like, some people will take US dollars, but most of it will be, you need to exchange into pesos. They have changed their system. The inflation has gone wonkers or whatever, and people and banks are being really crazy. So what my ground operator deals with a lot of people who go to different places and they bring back dollars or whatever. So what I said I would do, and I just want to see if you want me to up it or whatever, is when we get to Havana on the first night, I told her at this point to bring us enough pesos for everyone to exchange $100. The last group that I talked to wanted to up it to 200, just because we can only exchange for their good rate, which is right now about 150 pesos to $1. But she told me in September, it was 120 pesos to $1. And she said it's just going up, so we don't know exactly what it'll be, but banks are doing a lot less. There'll be times where you're just going to have to, find a place to exchange. But I think, as much as we can have in cash, for exchanging, I thought that would be best. So if you want me to up it, yes, no, yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Gail.
So I also want upped and consider Chris and me separate. So
Okay.
so we'll get more money. But so a couple questions about money.
Yeah.
So you're saying we should be prepared to give in cash whatever dollar amount that evening. Is there any benefit to changing euros over dollars? That's my first question. And then my next question is, since we may have to change, and I have no idea, maybe you can address this, how much money we should expect to spend personally, but since we might have to change multiple times in smaller amounts, is it better to bring 20s over 50s, or like, do they prefer a $50 bill or
Yeah. Okay. I will answer all those. First, they do prefer, the 50s and 100s. You may want smaller if you're tipping someone or someone does a favor for you or whatever. People will take US dollars. So if you wanted to do that, some of the private restaurants, some of our dinners and stuff are on your own. If you go to some of the private restaurants, they actually have a menu that will say pesos and dollars. You may want to ask what they did in terms of the exchange rate, because maybe they gave that with a 20-to-1 or whatever. So and then you pay, which is better. But if if you don't have pesos or you don't have dollars, then you can possibly do that in the private restaurants. And I'll get to the amount, but wait, what was the first one you asked? The first question that you asked me?
I was asking whether there's a benefit to bringing euros.
Oh, euros. So
I know they have a lot of European visitors.
Right. So it depends on, if you're able to you'll get a better exchange rate slightly right now. The euro, I think she said.
Better with what, euro or dollar?
With euro.
Oh, okay.
Slightly. But if you were paying in, here to exchange, and, they took some money for that exchange to get euros, that would pretty much wash it out. So
I've got some euros.
Yeah. So if you have them, yes, you'll get a little bit of a better rate to exchange to pesos. But, I wouldn't tell anyone to go and get an exchange exchange dollars into euros for that savings, because it really wouldn't be enough if you were charged.
Right.
So,
okay. But bring them if we have them.
Right. So the other part about how much money, first of all, just bring more than you think you're going to need. If you can see behind me, that's one of my photos that I got there. Pictures. There are, everywhere that we go, there is, and we're going to be speaking with musicians and artists, and that, and they're going to have amazing art, and really, I mean, it's just like, you're just like overwhelmed. This particular piece, I think, was $65. But there are pieces. I had someone on my last trip that fell in love with a piece of art that was $1,500. So if you are, if you love art and you think you want, I would just bring a lot of extra. And but generally, if you want to get a few pieces that, a few nice pieces are, could be in the 80 to 200 range or whatever. Tips can be taken in cash, but the recommended is $10 a day per person for the guide and $8 per person for the bus driver. So that's like the main guides. There are a few, other little things that won't be much, but most of like all the people that we are meeting, which is one thing that like adds into the price, is that they already are getting, a fee for talking to us and getting a donation to their organization. I will say that actually just talking about that, I did want to bring up, because we're a few less people than I originally budgeted for. I put a certain amount of money in there to cover the Friday night dinner for the community. We may need to do a little bit more, but I'll see what they're going to arrange. So, but there is, for donation, a lot of that is all included in your price. So, not the tips to the, to the guides, but most, like the docents at the museum and stuff like that, they are already. And then of course, if someone does something, or, you just want to leave something. There is one meal a day that is not included most of the time. If you go to, like in Havana, to one of the fancier restaurants, it could be an equal to what you would pay here for a nice dinner. It could be like, a $35 or whatever dinner. Most of them would probably range more, like the $20 dinner. And then again, you can, find something
I'm still on.
that's not, just, a small little place. I think that, because we're a small group, I think that even though some of the dinners aren't included, I think that Malia made, just because there are certain places that she likes and she wants us to see, I think she made reservations at certain places that, even though it's, a night that the dinner is not included, we'll pay on our own, but she wanted us to have that. So a lot of the dinners are, kind of included, not included price-wise, but those are, probably around that $25 mark for dinner. And that generally doesn't include alcohol. They do, their mojitos are, they call rum vitamin R, and everyone, you get that we sat down, at like 10 o'clock while we were waiting for one of the guys to lead us on a hike. We sat down and, they passed us, everyone got another rum drink, just while we were sitting there waiting there. So, hopefully you all like rum. But they, so, that in terms of like, money and alcohol, it's not all that expensive, for like drinks, but those are not included. And I'm trying to remember, I think I put in there, if you want to, we do have water, like water is included on, they'll have, kind of the big jugs of water, then we'll have you refill your water bottle. If you, want, for whatever reason, want your own, then that, like little things like getting water. Again, you don't drink the water there. Always, it's very easy to get bottled water, and in most most of the places. Havana, like any city, has a lot more amenities, I guess I'll use that word. So a lot of things will be a lot easier. The going into, when we go to Vinales in Pinar del Rio, which is like one of my favorite places because it is so scenically beautiful. But and that's where we'll meet like the farmers. You'll just love it. But their things are a little less defined, and also there is where and there we're staying, in bed and breakfast that probably are going to be I haven't stayed there. The hotel that I stayed at is now on the blacklist for Americans. So there are very few hotels that are available or that, for Americans to stay at. So most of them are the bed and breakfast. The ones in Havana that I moved us to, because it's right in the middle of the old city, which has like everything going on, as opposed to the hotel that like had nothing going on. But that way, you can just get the vibe, very easily by walking out your front door. But the ones in Pinar del Rio are probably going to be very, basic, a bed, whatever. But as I said, we're just there to sleep, and if you're, I've had a few different people in the casas or the bed and breakfast. Some of them have amazing hosts that want to chat and just give them tons of information. Some of them are a little less, but if you do get one of those who are who love to chat, it's really fun. I stayed in one in the old city the last time I was there, and had the most amazing breakfast also. So when they take that seriously too, especially if you get someone who likes to cook. But it'll be a different experience for everyone will be in a different one. They'll all be in the same area, but you'll be in a different one. Gail, do you still have your hand up, or is that from before?
No, it actually was new, but
you don't remember?
It will come to me. So
Okay.
I have a question.
I'm going to lower it and then I'll raise it again.
Okay. Yeah, Lori.
Are we being split up? Like, am I going somewhere all by myself?
For the casas, you might be. It depends. I have to see which ones have like 2 bedrooms or whatever. But if you had a single, you might be, and I'll double check that. But they're all like on the same strip. So, anyone else? All right. So also,
Jacqueline,
I'm gonna. Oh, yeah.
I remember my question.
Okay.
If I can ask you now, so before you switch topics.
Okay.
Have you ever had anybody, so you mentioned like buying artwork and this and that. My recollection, and I went to Vietnam in the 80s when we did not have relations, and it was similar language in the passport to Cuba. You're not allowed actually to bring stuff back in, which I brought a lot of stuff from Vietnam, but I had a really, really accommodating person at customs. Have you ever had the experience where someone did not get through to customs with their stuff, having spent $1,500 on a piece of art?
No. Artwork is allowed. What's not allowed are cigars and rum.
Okay, so, artwork is allowed. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of it falls under like an educational something. Yeah, and the rum and the cigars actually is new. So they actually used to let you bring like a very limited amount in, but now they don't. So
You can't even get like 6 in a suitcase.
what?
You can't even get.
I wouldn't do it. So I mean, I would say don't. But yeah, Karen.
I would do it.
I'll come visit you in jail in Cuba. Do they have the cigars and the rum in the duty-free shop that you can get, or it's not the same?
I don't remember, but I will tell you that even if they have it in the duty-free shop, remember, Cuba doesn't care. It's going back to the United States. So there are people from other countries that can easily buy it and bring it back. It's our limitation as U.S. citizens. So, so don't get, like don't say, oh, it's in the duty free. That means I can buy it. Because in the U.S. they will confiscate.
Can I also, if we're doing cigar rolling, can I bring my cigar back?
I'm not sure, but maybe. They may let you get away with like one primitive looking cigar.
American rolled.
Right. Yeah, like I said, they used to let a limited amount. The last time I was there, which was in 2019, right before the pandemic. I haven't been there since. So they allowed a few. You can do like one bottle, and I think like 6 cigars or something like that. So I don't know what to say. I can ask and get a little more of someone if they know anyone who's done anything like that. But we'll smoke our cigars over dinner that we roll.
Right, with our rum.
With our rum, exactly.
I'm on board.
Okay. I'm going to go into phones. So your phone will work in Cuba. They have somehow, whatever your service is, but you'll be charged about $3 a minute. So you want to keep that to a minimal, and you will like I would just say keep your phone on airplane mode so you don't accidentally keep it on. Texts are, if you're using data, will be 50 cents a text. So that can add up to your bill. I mean, no one in my group had a problem, but I remember another group that someone came home to a $600 phone bill. So we will use WhatsApp. I mean, okay, I'm going to step back and talk about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi in Havana is pretty easy. Our hotel has Wi-Fi that I think in the like major area, like the lobby-ish area, I think they let you use it. If you want it for your room, you'll have to buy a card. And most of Havana, Wi-Fi is fairly easy to connect or find. There is a connection card that you can buy. I think for like a few bucks you can get 2 hours worth of Wi-Fi. And I think I told them to buy everyone a card, just to start with or whatever. So we have that. And it will help with our, keeping in our WhatsApp group. When we go to Pinar del Rio and Trinidad and Cienfuegos, again, they're a little more out there, and the connection may be limited. So just make sure that Steve's having trouble coming back on and off. Just make sure that you have that if you want to be if someone wants to be in touch with you, in the information packet, I have our guide's phone number and I have the ground operation Cecily's phone number. So if there's anyone that, you know, if it's a work or something that an emergency, make sure that they have those phone numbers and they can call anytime and they will reach us. So if we are, you know, if you're not, you know, online or, you know, off Wi-Fi, whatever, and someone needs to reach you, that would be, you know, something that you should have and make sure that they have that and they can always reach you. Jesus will be with us, you know, pretty much all the time. And if, you know, and something happens during the evening, you know, he knows where to find you. So, so that is something I forgot to say before, but that's a pretty, you know, that would be important. Does everyone have WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll create a WhatsApp group between us, and when we get to Cuba, I'll add Jesus into that so that he'll also be part of that if there's anything that comes up. Yes, Gail.
Just real quickly, I don't think Chris has been on any email list, so could you please make sure he gets emails as well?
Yes, you never gave us his, so
I thought in one of those original ones it asked for all the information.
Okay, for whatever reason I didn't have.
I will send it. I'll send it to you. And,
all right,
and
perfect.
phone number as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I think that's when we had the little crazy mishap when you signed up and whatever. But that's it kind of your information overloaded his, and I think that's where we lost it. Anyone else? Okay, so
Robin, Steve,
yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I need to get in my car because I'm going to a punch shack.
Okay.
And I can't be late, so I switched to my cell phone. What did you say about the use of cell phones on Verizon? Will we be able to use them?
I said that they will work, but they will cost you about $3 a minute. So try not to use them very much if you want to keep a reasonable phone bill, and we'll try and keep everything on Wi-Fi.
Will there be internet at the hotel and fax machines?
So in Havana, there will be. When we go out into the more kind of countryside, a little less, but we can buy kind of Wi-Fi cards. I'll buy everyone one card or whatever, and if you need more, then you can get that, and Jesus will know where to get them for everyone.
Well, some plans, like my Verizon, I think I have an international calling plan.
It won't work in Cuba.
It won't work in Cuba.
No.
And also, and I haven't traveled in a while, this is a question from previous. Can you use American Express? Are there such things as traveler's checks anymore? You can't.
Not really. Traveler's checks, well, you wouldn't be able to use American Express traveler's checks. If you went to a Canadian bank and got traveler's checks or another bank, you could, but I wouldn't. I would just, cash is king.
So if you don't want to bring a water bottle, okay, because it takes room in the suitcase, okay, we can just buy a bottle of water down there.
You can, but I would bring a refillable water bottle. And you can just carry that on, because I had said that you should really fill it in the Florida airport. You can buy it, but when you arrive, you may have an issue with, if you're having to wait and, to get your bags and you want a sip of water and it wouldn't be right there. So it would be good to have that. Plus, when you're waiting, you won't have pesos yet at that point.
Did you discuss, and I missed about 2.5 minutes, did you discuss the need for adapters and voltage converters?
Not yet. I will get there in a second.
Okay.
All right. But the next thing I just on my topics to make sure that we cover are donations. I don't know if any of you saw in the latest newsletter that I went out, I actually put out to people. They, particularly the Jewish community hosts, I guess in Havana, they host the pharmacy for everyone. But they particularly, also take care of their of the community. There's a lot of older people, and getting prescription drugs and even like vitamins or things like aspirin is just something that they really need. As most of you know, that my mother just passed away, and she had tons of heart prescriptions. So I'm bringing like a bunch of that and a bunch of like her, supplements and all that to bring over there. There was a list in the packet of donations. If you want, we can set up like a little maybe on Google Drive, like a list of the donations, and if someone, just so that not, if everyone buys aspirin, which is nice, but maybe we kind of split it up or whatever. If someone has something or, is going to Costco, they, it's pretty desperate there. I mean, when I talked to the woman who ran the Cuban American Jewish mission, she's sending me like tons of money to bring. She's just like, they're very desperate. So whatever, whatever you want or whatever you have, we can, like I said, we can set up this drive, and so we can split up, some of the donations. I also, have, I don't know exactly what I was going to ask Malia, because she said something like whenever she goes, she also brings food. Their food is rationed. I think the last time I was there, I think it was like 2 or 3 servings of protein a month. So they get, that's why for the Shabbos dinner that we're doing, we're providing, I think, either fish or chicken or something. So, I was going to ask her about, those packets of like tuna fish or whatever, and, they're lightweight. I was going to see if, if we can bring that. People have, most of you, just like any international flight, you're given 2 suitcases, and most people have brought like a suitcase full of donations and things like that, just to bring. So I think that I have covered my main things. So now I'll let you guys ask questions. Did I miss anything? Do you want to go? Okay, we can go over the electric piece. I'll look through the packet real fast and go over. So I put in the packet the type of talked about these. We talked about arrivals, departures, customs, what's included, travel insurance. If anyone still wants that, let me know. We talked about money, communications. Okay, electricity. Mostly they do have the 110, but there is the, our type in a lot of places, but you may find the 220. So bring in an adapter for, your phone goes up to, like if you're charging your phone, that goes up to 220. So if you are in a place that they don't have the 110, then the 220 adapter to, sorry, that's adapter, that's converter. Your phone, your adapter, your phone, your computer, your camera, charger, most of those things go to 220. So you don't need to bring a converter for, to convert your voltage. Now, their outlets, maybe, I think that, what did I say that their outlets were? They have I have the picture of what their outlets are. And so you would need an adapter that you put your plug into that will then go into the wall. So it has, I have a lot of them. So I can bring a bunch, but there's the two round, the two round pins, and then the flatter, ours have a little like bend to it, but there's like the flat too also. So if you buy any of the universal adapters, they will have it. That, they'll have one of the ones to fit into a wall there. So you don't need to get a converter, but an adapter for the wall you do. Does that make sense? Okay.
I don't really know the difference between a converter and an adapter.
Oh, there you go. I know a lot of people have gotten confused, so I've always kind of tried to do that. There is, the packing list. I put for first aid kit. I put everything to think of. Just think of what you tend to have issues with and need. And just make sure that you are self-sufficient. There are pharmacies, they may not have what you're looking for. I did say for your medication to pack in the original container. I will amend that and say that if like a lot of people just put all their pills into one, into a pill box or whatever, take a picture of your pills. And it's good to have, if they ask you in customs, you have a lot of, what's this pill for? And you'll say like, this is my heart or whatever. And you can show them the label on your picture, from your phone, a picture of it. If that is, when you're bringing for other, if you're bringing donations, food or vitamins or, things like that, and they ask you about it, and they usually don't, because they know why Americans, they know that we tend to bring donations. But if they ask, just say it's a gift, and they're fine with that. So I'm trying to think. I think I covered everything. I know we didn't, like I said, look through the packing list and think about you. The weather is going to be beautiful, or should be, who knows nowadays. But, you may want something, if you're a person that gets cold, and other people may want, the air conditioning higher or whatever, and you want it lower, make sure that you have something to cover you up. We're not doing anything too fancy, but you may want something when we go out dancing or whatever, for those who choose to do that in the evenings. We'll have recommendations for late night things for anyone who wants that. So
Are we going anywhere where we would need to cover up our knees?
No.
Okay, so we don't have to bring a long skirt for
No.
a specific place.
No, I mean, we are having dinner at the synagogue, but you would bring what you would normally wear to. I think it's a conservative one. I think that people some wear pants, some wear, whatever. So,
So Robin, if I don't want to bring a sport coat because I don't want to overpack,
you don't need a sports coat.
You don't need a sport coat or nice casual clothes. Are we going to wear short pants and casual shoes during the day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I would bring, you may want like one nice pair of pants and one, for, a nicer restaurant or something like that, but it's not necessary.
But shorts mostly.
Yeah.
What about umbrellas? What about hair dryers? Are they going to be in the hotels?
Probably not in the hotels. I will double check, but I don't think so. The umbrellas, I wouldn't waste space in that, because it is supposed to be, March is one of the driest months there. So, who knows? It could rain, but I wouldn't put, kind of, if you're trying to pack light, I wouldn't include that. you know, the hair dryer situation, because because it might be 220 or whatever, I wouldn't, you got to make sure that your hair dryer can switch. So, but some of them might have that, and even in the bed and breakfast, they may have something like that. But I would say we may just be foregoing that piece.
So if you have a travel adapter converter kit, but it's got things for the Caribbean, South America, that's what you need. You don't need Europe or North or all those other ones.
I will double check and tell you what the name of what letter the voltage is, and I'll send that to you guys.
Okay, and we're going to go to the beach. We're going to be in the ocean too.
Well, we're kayaking, and so we will be doing that, and there'll be some time in the beach. So, but not, it's not going to be every day. Actually, it's only going to be a day or two. I will say that going back to the whole legal part of this trip, it's supposed to, we're supposed to be, it's people to people. We're supposed to be meeting with people who are not part of, who are not, communist promoters or whatever. And so the itinerary is very active. And for us, it's even more active than probably an average group, because we're doing some biking, we're doing, nothing is too long, and some hiking and stuff, because they need to fulfill that piece. They need to make sure that we have a certain number of hours that we're meeting with people. That's why some of the things that I did, I tried to like the salsa dancing. I mean, we're going to be meeting with the dancers, but we're going to be learning dancing. We're going to be meeting with an artist, but we're going, a musician, but we're going to be listening to music and learning. So there's a couple of that, but our biking is like 2 hours. Our hiking is never more than 2 hours, maybe a little longer. We have a cooking class in there, so we'll be meeting with the people and learning how to cook, some of the Cuban dishes. But I am saying that if we're in a place and we're coming back to a place, meaning that we're not traveling on and getting on a bus, it's okay if you decide, and just let me know if you decide you want to do something on your own. We have to comply. We have to have this itinerary.
Continue on Howell Mill Road for 1.5 miles.
So I'm just saying that if you want to, and we're staying in a place, and you meet back or whatever, you can do that. So, Gail, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. So one is just pursuing this a little bit more, because I'm a little fuzzy. So coming from Chicago, I really value being near the ocean and the Caribbean. So if we want to have an hour just to take a swim once or twice, I'm a little fuzzy. Is that going to be something or?
We would have to figure out where. I mean, you don't go into the, right where we are, like in Havana. You don't. Where we are in Trinidad, we can.
Yeah, I mean, I know not every day, and not in Havana.
Right.
But is there going to be a time where, we can go? We're near a beach, and we can go for a swim. You don't need to hang out on the beach for 5 hours. It's like literally wanting to be in the water.
Right. Yeah, we can figure it out and make that work.
Okay.
Gail, we're definitely going in the water.
What?
Okay, I'm going with you, Anthony. Okay.
Yeah, we're going in the water. I'm going in the water every chance I can. I'm going in the water.
I'm totally with you. Okay.
My skin is cold. I want warm water.
Just circling back to the clothes for a second. I don't mean to belabor this point, but like women in Cuba, if they go out in the evening, are they kind of glam, like a little glitzed up if they go out, or
Yeah.
if you go out dancing or to hear some music, like I understand I'll bring a different change of clothes, but like how much?
Right. I mean, you'll get both. You'll get a little bit of everything. The people who are if you're going to one of like, the dance clubs or something like that, which is, cool to, to go into, there'll definitely be some, how, the, Latin Americans, get all fancy, even if they're going to, wherever. So, yeah. So yes, they will.
You will see that there also. Okay.
Yeah, you will see that there also. Hi, Laura. Sorry. Did my timing get you messed up with the central and the eastern?
No, I forgot.
Well, now that we're kind of finishing up, and I did record it for you, but do you want to just tell everyone who you are and where you come from?
Hi, I'm the Flake from New York. I just joined on pretty much the last minute. I was supposed to go skiing, and I had to cancel that. So this is my replacement vacation. I think I kind of traded up, actually. I don't know who there's my roommate.
Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey there, how are you? Glad you're coming.
We gotta talk later, okay? Robin, can you?
I'm available tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. I got to get it on my calendar and make my phone beep. So anyhow, that's it. Swimming in the ocean. I'm not going in the water with you because there are sharks there. So yeah, my biggest fear ever. All
right.
Yeah, got it.
So I did record everything. We had a great, I think we had a pretty good question answer thing, and is there anyone else who had anything else to say? Questions? Chris, do you? No? Oh, you're still muted.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. It's kind of hard to do cell phone. I had read that there are two different kinds of pesos that are used in Cuba. Some of the local peso, some of the official peso. How do we deal with that?
Okay, they have eradicated that. That was actually that's actually new this year, and that's one of the reasons why the inflation is so crazy. So they used to have like the people's pesos, and then they would, for anyone coming in from somewhere else, they would get another type of pesos called the kook. And we would use the kook and I think the kook was 1-to-1. And so then they got rid of the kook, and now we just have the the regular pesos, which, as I said, was about 150 to $1 right now.
So when I just looked, I'm sitting in front of my computer for US dollar to Cuban peso, and it says it's at about 24 pesos. What does that mean?
Your destination will be on the left.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying that they're it is crazy. That's what they are saying. And that's what you would probably get close to something like that when you are if you go off to a place that we haven't, that Jesus doesn't know about. You will be getting, if you hopefully, even when we're out in the countryside, he will know where we can go to get the better rate. But that's why I wanted you guys to exchange with our operator, because it would be more like the 150 to 1. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it is crazy. And so when you go to a private restaurant, and you see on their menu that they say, it's 2,500 pesos and $13 or whatever, you need to ask what, what their exchange rate is, because it probably would be, they'd be doing it in that 24, in, the official bank 24 to 1. But we would be able to get more, much better. Certainly when I bring you, when we get there, when we arrive and everyone, and we do the exchange with our ground operator, And Laura, I told everyone that we'll probably, take like 200 on the first day just to get 150 to 1 instead of the 24 to 1. So, but we don't know the numbers will be in a month either. Exactly.
It seems to make sense to me to cash more out then, because we're no more likely to have, like, I don't see the downside to that. We still have to carry a ton of cash on us.
Right. I mean, the only thing is that, there are places to use dollars, the guides will take it, tipping will take it, a few, so, you just want to make sure you don't overdo it, so you're not left, coming back here with a bunch of pesos that cannot be used, but
Will
you
we
can
be able to exchange back?
What?
Can we exchange back before we leave?
I don't
No,
think so.
here. Also, I assume that if we're going to pay in dollars somewhere, they're not going to accept $100 bills. They're going to want 20s and lower, right?
So that's what I said for the exchange.
I'm sorry, everyone.
For the exchange, I bring more of the 50s and 100s to be exchanged. That's what they want. And I realize I didn't tell you guys. Make sure that they are crisp new bills. When I go to my bank, they'll sit there and they're like, is this okay? Is this okay? And I like, yes, no. So make sure you don't have any old 100s or 50s, but then you're going to want some smaller bills. So for that, for the smaller things, yes.
Is there a approximate dollar amount you'd like us to bring?
What?
Is there a specific dollar amount you recommend?
Well, in the packet, I said $100 a day, and that, which may sound, and then I said, and even on top of that, you may want to bring an extra 500. Just if you find that piece of artwork or something that you love, and and you want to have, you want the money, so to do that. So
thank you.
We can also figure some things out if someone, like I said, if someone finds something, we can, try and make it work that I can maybe wire money from my bank to them right away, whatever. So we can make it work. But the general recommendation, the $100 a day, you're not going to spend $100 a day, your meals and your little, Satskis or whatever aren't going to be 100, but if you see something that you really like, and that's why I said, like, even on top of that, to add the 500 in case you find something that you want to buy. Lori,
is this going to be our last meeting before our trip? Like, will we, if I don't do the 2 days before call to get that that we were talking about scheduling?
I wasn't planning on doing it again, but
okay, so we'll see each other the 23rd in November.
Right.
Okay.
So yes, anyone else have any other questions?
I assume someone already asked, what are the kinds of things people buy there as souvenirs?
Mostly artwork, and I show them, that's my painting from Cuba.
How'd you get it home?
Well, they rolled it up. If there are, the artwork is amazing. And it comes in all, it's so funny because when I was there, because I have brought people a couple of times, I've gotten to know people, and one of the families, got a gift for me, which was a wood carving, and it's beautiful and I love it, but I was like, now I have to carry this very heavy wood carving, but it is here. I have it in my house, but some of the wood carvings are beautiful, but really, like, the crafts is kind of the main thing. Everywhere you go, there's music. And so there's bands playing, and they will sell their CD. I mean, I bought tons of CDs and I don't even have a CD player, but, you want to support them. So I'll figure out how to transfer them, because the music is wonderful. And really every every meal there'll be, there'll be music, along with your rum, they will, be having music and stuff. So, it's a great place. We, we picked restaurants, they kind of cover, mostly like, A for the food, but B for the vibe. So, you'll kind of get a feel of different, different types and things like that for a lot of the places that we'll be at. Anyone? Are we good? Like I said, as soon as they do the final approval of the itinerary, which 3 weeks before should be this week, right? Coming up. Yep. So I should get the final itinerary and I will send that out. And like I told Laura, like I told the group, is that they generally don't modify much, but they may do a little modification. Yes, Debbie.
I have one final question about the affidavit that you want us to fill out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Where it says my OFAC license number is that the 31 CFR section? That's the number that people to people travel.
Right.
That is a license number.
That is a license number that you use. Yes, that's the license number that you use.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, I'm very excited. I think this is going to be great. I am going to double check some more, beach areas, but like I said before, we have a very full itinerary with lots of people and different things that are meeting. But as long as we're not, moving around, you guys can, go off, but just let me know. So I'm not looking for you. I do try and herd my cats, so as best I can.
Can't wait. Super excited to see everyone.
Same.
Nice
All right,
meeting
so
you.
I will send I'll send around a little maybe a couple of times that we can fill out the form together and I can get some feedback. And I know it seems like we're not going to get everyone, but we can do them, the best we can.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Robin.
Bye.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking
Nice
forward to
to meet you.
seeing and all of you soon. Oh God, it's less than a month.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Laura, I'll send you the recording if you want.
I appreciate that. Also, I probably already have it, but I haven't looked at the paperwork. I didn't have an affidavit. I'm so late,
All
you
right.
guys.
I will send you everything.
All right.
Everyone.